Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Shared Light with Dusty and JR. I am obviously JR.
And I'm Dusty.
So we've been pretty deep, I feel like, the last few episodes.
Yeah.
Things have been
pretty heavy.
So we wanted to take a minute and, not all parts of a marriage are as heavy.
Majority, I think, for us are not heavy.
Right. And while we do think that it is beneficial to talk through some of that stuff, and we do think it is helpful to, mass audiences, and obviously we started the podcast because we both want to help other people maybe gain some light from people that have been in it for 20 years plus. We have a lot of fun too, and we thought we would take this opportunity to talk through something that I imagine a lot of people actually can relate to, and that's the idea of opposites attracting, right? We touched on it a little bit last episode where we are complete opposites in our frame of thinking when it comes to emotions and the way we handle situations, but it goes deeper than that. In kind of a funny way. We're just going to get into it, right? Obviously, there have been some similarities in our story, but by and large, they're pretty opposite ends of the spectrum, right?
Yeah.
In understanding that we do have highly different perspectives on deep topics, it would just seem natural that we've also got a lot of opposite perspectives on everyday topics. We wanted to touch on that a little bit because obviously we have been able to work through a lot of that opposite end of the spectrum, black and white, yin and yang dynamic, and just give a little bit of insight on what we've learned through that. So one of those things that I have found extremely, for the longest time, I've thought about it and thought that it was kind of funny to me, is the idea of bedtime, right? I am one that when it's time to go to bed, it's time to go to bed. I have done what I need to do for the day. It's time for me to just lay down, go to bed, and get ready for the next day. She, on the other hand, turns into like a 2-year-old when it's bedtime.
I do. I always have that. I don't want to go to bed. I'm an adult and I don't have to.
And the irony of that is, and this is where we are also complete opposites, is she loves to nap.
I do. I'm a napper. I'm a daytime sleeper.
And I cannot, for the life of me, waste my day napping, which I think is why I found it so hard to work nights, because I couldn't ever get past that day sleeping thing. That's a story for another day. But it's one of those weird dynamics, because the unfortunate part for her is that I'm also an early riser.
Yeah. I was to say is that you're a morning person.
I am very much get up and go.
I'm very much get up and have like 30 minutes to have coffee and like wake up.
And I have seen a very similar dynamic in our kids.
Yes.
My youngest is very much like I am. She's up and it is time to go. My oldest is very much like her. She needs
a minute.
A good hour to be awake. I mean, before that it's a lot of grunting.
Yeah, like good morning.
So it's funny. It's one of those things that it doesn't get lost on me, especially on the weekends, because I feel like the weekends are those days where it's your time to shine, right? It's like, we don't have to go to bed early.
We don't have to get up early.
So we're up at night snacking, watching documentaries, watching whatever we're watching that night. Not always, but generally the first one to fall asleep.
Yeah.
And then the flip side to that is I'm still an early riser, so it does not matter that I go to sleep late. I'm still up early, which again is unfortunate for her, because the other thing that I find amusing and that we are complete opposites on is that if I'm out of bed, she feels that she needs to be out of bed. And the opposite is not true. If she's out of bed, I'm fine staying in bed.
You're also a very routine person, and I'm not.
So I am. I am very much a creature of habit. I have a very set routine in the morning, throughout my day. I have a general, timeline of things that need to happen throughout my day, and I am all sorts of discombobulated when those things do not happen in the order they're supposed to.
Yeah.
And you are not that way.
No. I'm a procrastinator. I do not plan out my day. Matter of fact, there are points in my day where I am like, okay, it's 11. I don't get the kids till 2. So, like, I could totally just take a nap for an hour until 12. And then I can get up and do, like, I still have 2 hours to get those things that I need to get done. That's just my thinking. I am not a planner like you. I'm not a routine.
It is systematically one of those things that drives me insane. Because even on, like, my days off, it's still very much a routine for me.
Yeah.
Like, I have a general timeline of things that I'm doing throughout the weekend.
Yeah.
And if I do not get those things done, I feel like I have amassed nothing.
Yeah. And that drives me nuts because I'm like, but it's the weekend. Like, we don't have to follow a schedule. We could just do whatever we want, whenever we want.
And again, this is where the dynamic for my kids is funny because in this sense, my oldest is that way with me, where she has to have everything scheduled out. She has to know what's going on. Has a general idea of what she's doing through the weekend.
Yeah.
And my youngest is fly by the seat of her pants.
She's very much like me. Like, well, I have an hour. I don't have to leave for an hour, so I can play Fortnite for like 55 minutes, and then I can just hurry and get dressed.
Right. And it's funny now, 20 years later. But I do remember in the beginning, some of those little things drove me insane. Of course, the first couple of years, you're on your best behavior, so you're not trying to...
Yeah.
But
after a while, it's like, you almost get mad, like, that they're that way. But, I mean, you can't really be mad at your person for that. That's who they are.
Right.
That's what they...
Right.
And if anything, I think you start to learn after a while that, like, you can meet in that gray area, because now I have started to...
You can in some instances.
In some, yeah.
In your case, you still don't like the way I do dishes.
No.
I may throw them in the dishwasher and let God take the wheel. And, that's what the dishwasher's for, right?
Perspective.
Right. So...
I need to pre-wash it with some dish soap, with some Dawn.
Yeah, so she washes the dishes before...
I pre-wash.
She washes the dishes before the dishes get washed, is what I
pre-wash with a little bit of soap, so I don't put them in the dishwasher with any kind of food on them. And you just throw them in with whatever's on them and hope for the best.
That's... Sometimes they get washed a second time, that's okay.
That's why I do the dishes.
And it's like it's that way on a lot of things in our marriage, I feel like, where we have very just different opinions. Surprisingly not in food necessarily. Maybe some ways, but generally we like the same things.
We do.
Yeah, I can't think of... I'm not a big sushi guy, but I'll give it a chance.
I think that's where, like, we just kind of meet in the gray area. It's like, it's food. Yeah. Like, I'm not set on having to eat certain things all the time, or like I'm open to new things, or like it's not that big of a deal if he wants burritos one night and I don't. It's like, well, okay, we can do burritos. Like it's not a deal breaker for me.
And and we're talking about it very lightheartedly, but really what it amounts to is you do start, whether you want to admit it or not, you do start seeing other perspectives that are not your own. You do start at least trying to understand where that mindset is from, which I still don't understand the mindset of not going to bed at night. I don't think I'll ever understand it.
I just always, every night when I go to bed, I don't want to.
It's the fear of missing out thing.
I think so.
Which there's nothing to miss out on when we're in bed.
How do I know that if I'm asleep?
And there is that. But sometimes those differences you have to adapt to. I like to sleep in a very cold climate, a very cold room. If I could sleep in a freezer, I would.
And I'm always freezing.
Right. But,
naturally.
And I'm one of those people that has to have a fan running. It does not matter if it's 30 below. I have to have the fan running. I need the movement of air. I need the sound. I need it all to just be able to drown out everything that's going on in the brain. But over the years, I will say, you fought the good fight for the good first,
tried.
10-ish plus years. But I think you eventually got to the point where it was like, you're not going to fight it anymore. And now you also need the fan running.
Yeah, 20 years later. But I think a little bit we compromised because you used to have the window open as well,
I did.
even if it was 10 degrees outside.
I did.
And so we don't have the window open anymore.
And some of that is because I pay my own gas bill now.
That's true.
Which I did then too, but I guess it's different now, I guess. I don't know. I got kids and I feel bad that they get cold. So.
But yes, now I need the fan on because it gets so hot in here.
But it's one of those little things that I think over time you learn to understand that there is some benefits to, like, even us. We have a lot of things that are completely opposite, but that in certain situations that actually helps us in the long run. Especially when it comes down to like perspective, situations, things that happen that I may react to one way or she may react to one way, and we're able to, play off of each other's strengths.
Yeah, I mean, because we always communicate about it.
So it helps. Again, it helps it helps to have that full encompassing view of a situation.
Yeah, I feel like we run into it a lot with our kids, just in parenting, because your views and perceptions are different than mine.
Well, and I'm very black and white when it comes to a lot of things.
Yeah, and so you see things differently than I do on, how we should raise them or how we should, what schools or versus homeschooling, public school, and we've had to really communicate about those things and figure out a solution.
Yeah, I mean...
Even though we don't always agree, we still don't agree on the schooling.
No.
Like you're adamant that they be in public school or in school, and I'm adamant that they should still be homeschooled. So we don't agree on it, but we've done homeschool and now they're in school. So I mean, we've had to...
Well, and I think, and it's not even so much, for me, it's not even so much the schooling, because I think getting schooled at home can actually probably be more beneficial. It's kind of everything else that comes with school, which this is, again, where we differ. She sees all the negative that can come from school, but I also see all the positives that come from them being able to interact at school. So, and it's been a compromise. I mean, they did homeschooling till they were in second or third grade at least. Yeah. And we still have situations where we think that maybe it would be better if they were in homeschool, but I think that is again, back to the dynamic where I think I have one child that would be devastated if she left public school, and we have another one that would thrive being outside. Yeah. So it's good to understand that even though you have a lot of those opposite views and perspectives, even though she keeps 100 browser tabs open, that drives me insane, and I can only be working in one or two.
But it's my computer, my tabs. You don't have to work on it.
But that's the whole thing, is that you're right. I do not have to worry about it. But it's like that whole notification thing, like where you can have 500 notifications on your phone and I can't have one because it just eats at the back of my brain.
I can't. On my home screen, I can't have any of the red. If I open my phone and I can see it, it's got to go away. But if I swipe over and they're there, whatever. Doesn't bother me.
And it's, what do they call that? That's a quirk?
Yeah,
it's a quirk.
Little quirks. I think everybody has little quirks that drive each other crazy. But
I don't have quirks.
You have quirks. You definitely have quirks. But I think overall, like, sometimes the opposites can make situations better. Like for you, you're always looking at big picture. And I obsess over details. But together, I mean, we're covered.
Right.
You've got the next 5-10 years covered as a big picture, and I've got all the details in between covered. So I think in a lot of situations, like, that opposite actually helps us.
And again, it's that dynamic that you have to be able to... It's good to have somebody that you can bounce that off of.
Yeah.
Not even just in a marriage, but just in life. Like, it's good to have people with opposite perspectives of your own because it challenges your own thinking.
Yeah. And you're constantly learning. Like, I still feel like us 20 years later in our conversations. I mean, not even hard conversations, just regular, normal, everyday conversations. We're learning new ways to do something or new thought processes regarding whatever the topic is, you know, a new perspective.
You really see it, and like for us, it really manifests. And in the way we talked about last episode, right, is that whole emotional, logical frame of mind. I mean, when it gets hard, I feel like that's a tough dynamic to overcome. But when it's not hard and it's approaching a situation that is not difficult and that it is, you know, something that we're excited about, having those contrasting frame of references and ideologies actually benefits the situation because we're able to understand a lot more of the picture.
Yeah. It's like brainstorming.
Right, right. And you know, take this podcast. It was one of those things where it was for her very emotionally driven, and for me it was very, again, I'm value add, right? How is this adding value? How is this doing this? So it was very good to have, once we started, you know, engaging and talking and not even necessarily like, oh, we have to do this, but you know, just brainstorming and talking about it. It really turned into one of those things where I could understand, okay, well, like I may not see like a logical sense of value, like monetary value or anything like that, but there is some value there because on the emotional side of things, like we're going to be able to connect with people that through other means we just wouldn't have been able to connect with. So it really does help you get better and grow.
Yeah, and grow.
And for me, that is my biggest driver today is, you know, what am I doing today to get better for tomorrow? I'm always constantly looking at what one thing can I do today to ensure that tomorrow is better than today was, which I know drives her crazy because she's not necessarily always that way.
Well, sometimes I'm just trying to get through today.
Right.
I'm not worried about tomorrow.
But it is good for you though. And that's one of those things that I say it's good to have that conflicting and contrasting mindset, because if we were of the same mindset, then it would just be two of us trying to get through the day.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm not saying that it's bad to connect with people that are the same mindset as you. Obviously,
No.
That those commonalities and those things that you have in common are the drivers for a lot of friendships that develop. For us, while we do have a lot of things in common and we do have a lot of shared goals and a lot of shared experiences, and like I mentioned, we are very much of the same wavelength, that we are opposite sides of that wavelength.
Yeah, we still have differences.
Which, you know, when you think about it, I think it's probably one of the biggest drivers for why we have had the relationship that we've had for 20 years.
Well, I mean, I think it creates balance in a relationship when you differ and when you have different perspectives, because, you know, one person's way up here and the other person's way down here, and you can kind of balance that out with, you know, whatever situation or whatever topic it is or situation you're going through. You know, you're going to have in your marriage or in your relationship differences, no matter what it is, whether it's happy, sad, you know, deep, not deep, superficial, like the dishwasher. You're going to have
And
those.
I only bring up the dishwasher because I think in the entire time I've been married, I have washed dishes. I could probably count on two hands the amount of times that I've done dishes.
Two hands?
Yeah, I mean, maybe a few more than that. Less? Okay. Anyways, I will not discount that it has not been very many times. But the reason for that is because I get in trouble every time that I do the dishes. And I have flooded the house twice.
What's the other reason you don't do dishes?
Well, I can't stand the thought and feel of food on my hands when it's...
Yeah.
You'll
throw up.
Yeah, I can't handle it. I can't handle it. It's one of those.
Okay.
It's one of those quirks, I guess, that I can't do food particles on my hands when they're like. It just grosses me out just to think about.
But that's okay. I got it covered. Got it handled.
To be fair, if a bear ever attacked the house, I would jump in and handle it.
True. I would not.
So, I mean, I got that going for me. I would probably be mauled to death, but that's all right. I would go down fighting. Give you and the kids a chance to run away. Right.
Balance. You fight the bears, I do the dishes.
Again, it's about being able to understand that the differences and opposite ends of thinking actually end up building resilience over time.
Yeah.
It gives you opportunities like this where we just get to sit and talk about and joke about the fact that I don't do dishes.
Yeah. And I mean, it doesn't always have to be a negative thing that you differ.
It does not. It does not. We never had a dishwasher growing up. So
It's fine if you don't do the dishes. I'm fine with it.
your kids love doing dishes. I don't understand why. Well, I guess one of them likes to
Our
do
oldest is just like you. She'll throw up.
Yeah. So again, it's about finding balance, and it's about being able to enjoy the differences that you have with each other. Honestly, I don't think that we would have the fun that we have if we didn't have a lot of those differences that we have. And over time, some of those differences have been able to actually, you eventually get to a point where you stop fighting the opposite end of the spectrum and just kind of give into it, right?
Yeah. I mean, a lot of them just aren't important enough to.
Well, and I think you start enjoying things that like for you, I have my secret shame. I do have a secret shame.
Which is now my secret shame.
We are wrestling fans, WWE fans. Which that was my secret shame for a long time, and it's something that she fought for a really long time. Did not like it.
I didn't like it for a long time.
But it's one of those things. Eventually, you just give up, and you kind of see what the gist of everything is, and you end up learning something that you like, something new.
Yeah. I mean, I just was like, he enjoys it. I'll give it a chance. Maybe I'll enjoy it too. And even if I don't, I still get to spend time with you.
Right.
Watching it instead of me off doing something else. But now I love it.
And I feel like it's that way, right? It gives you the opportunity to see and try things that you might not have been willing to try any other way.
Yeah. And it just might change your perception on it.
Yeah. And that's the most important, is that it gives you the opportunity to grow together.
Yeah. And it might, some things like WWE or differences, and now they're not.
Right.
No longer a difference. No longer something we don't agree on.
I guess that's the other thing too, though, is that there's always going to be those differences that you're really just never going to agree on. Like, I'm never going to agree that my house should be over 72 degrees.
And I'm never going to agree that it should be 60. Just not going to happen.
It's funny now, but that was actually kind of it was a point of contention there for a little bit. The keeping the house too cold or keeping it hot. See, I'm a person that gets hot and gets angry.
Yeah.
That's why I don't ever want it hot. Heat brings out the anger.
I'm just always cold. So I don't want to be cold 24/7. I want to come into my house and be warm.
Well, we've got blankets and sweaters and jackets. It's easier to layer up than it is to remove layers when you're a big guy like me. So,
we just won't ever agree. It's always going to be a difference, and that's okay.
But
and some of the bigger topics, too, like, you just are never probably going to agree on.
Yeah, and I mean, that's the thing that I think, and it can get heavy, and there's situations where your perspectives are not going to align just because it's your perspective. Everybody's entitled to their perspective. There's nothing wrong with it. And I know that there will be some people that could argue that some perspectives are wrong, but I don't necessarily feel that way, regardless of, what that perspective is. Yeah, I may not agree with the ideologies and some of the outcomes that come from those perspectives, but they're still entitled to those perspectives for whatever reason. You're not always going to agree, and it's not always going to be being able to joke around about it. But that does not mean that I care any less about her, that I love her any less, that, like, it's just not something that is a sticking point ever. It's just okay. I mean, this is what it is, and
a lot of those things just aren't important enough that it's like, I need you to agree with me. I need you to see my perspective on it. It's okay to have your own.
And I think I've talked about it before. That's where the ego part takes over, right? Is you do get to a point where, especially when you're like in a heated conversation, a heated argument, like, you want the other person to understand your perspective. Your perspective is the one that matters. Like, it really, it matters to you. It doesn't necessarily
'Cause
matter
it's
to
your
the
own
yeah. It
perspective.
doesn't necessarily matter to the other person.
I think that gets hard for me, especially in our hard conversations and when we do disagree on heavier things, because I have a lot of emotions behind it. So it's like I can't just see it sometimes as like he can't see it because he has his own perspective, and we just agree to disagree because I have so many emotions behind it that I'm just like I can really start to just think about like he doesn't get me, he doesn't understand me, he doesn't.
Yeah, I mean, you start going down that rabbit hole of everything that those emotions are telling you. As much even as I try sometimes, it's like I just don't understand it because
And
like
that's okay.
I'm not an emotional guy like that. So it's
and
not
like you said, that's okay. I don't love you any less because of that, because you can't see or understand my perspective in that moment or whatever. It's just we're just at a point now, I think, that we're okay agreeing to disagree. It's okay sometimes.
It is. It is. It is. I mean, I there's a lot of things that I probably will never understand and will never agree with, but that does not. I mean, I also want to be very honest. That also does not mean that we are always able to communicate that way.
No.
I mean, we have our moments still. We do not approach things from the light, and we like. For me, my ego really does take. Like, no, you really need to understand my side of it.
Yeah. Just like my emotions do.
And it's still one of those things. It's you're constantly working for a better outcome tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, and I think for me anyway, when those situations do come up and we're not able to see each other's perspective or see eye to eye on something, that's really where you just agree to disagree and say your light is more important to me in that moment than you seeing my perspective. Like I have to take a step back and say like, it's okay. It does not, he's more important to me, and his light and our relationship and our love is more important than this certain situation that we do not agree on. Sometimes you're in the heat of it and you can't always see that. So I really try to just like take a step back out of it and be like, yes, it's heated. Yes, it's maybe important in the moment because of emotion or whatever. But overall, the big picture isn't important. It's not more important than our marriage. It's not more important than,
Right. And I guess that's that's where they tell you, right? Is this going to matter in 5 years?
Yeah.
Is this going to matter in 5 minutes? Is it going to matter in 5 hours? Like,
yeah. And most of the time it does not.
Right. So it's like, why are you arguing anyway? But I don't want to discount that. You still have you're still going to have those moments that aren't a ray of sunshine all the time. But to your point, I mean, that's okay. That's part of life, and that's part of growing with another person and putting the effort into something that we both value. I don't think anybody would argue that we both really value our marriage and what we're doing to get to some of the goals that we have with each other. And it's been a long road. And even through a lot of the differences that we have had, I mean, it's because of those differences that we have been able to come out the other side of a lot of these really dark moments in light. And the good thing about having that opposite perspective is that the reality is like when I'm arguing from the dark or I'm in my ego or I'm in my feelings or I'm trying to logically get my point across, like she sees my light. And the same goes for me. Like when she's really struggling, it's like we are able to have that yin and yang effect with each other that, I mean, it's rare that we're both, and it does happen. I'm not saying it doesn't, but it's rare that we're both in that moment where it gets so heated that it's, and a lot of that I think is because we have been able to accept each other's differences and accept that things aren't always going to, our views aren't always going to align as much as we want them to.
No. And I think we just, like, I see you more than I see the difference, and I think that's important. I don't see you as the difference.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. So it's, you're not seeing the action. You're still seeing the person behind the action or behind the thought or behind whatever, which that I think is what is most important in all of these situations is that even though it drives her insane that I don't know how to load a dishwasher, I mean, she still sees me.
He pays for the dishes and he pays for the food that goes on it. So we balance.
Balance, right. So, we really just wanted to take some time with everybody and talk through some important topics. I do feel that, being able to recognize the differences that you have with whoever you're in a relationship with whoever you're close with, your friends, your coworkers, your family. It's okay to have those differences, and a lot of the times you'll find that those differences are what really make your relationship what it is.
Yeah. Helps you grow.
So, with that, I do want to wish everybody a blessed week. Keep sharing your light with others, and catch you on the next one.